All My Children once captivated global audiences with its emotionally charged and dramatic stories set in Pine Valley. But over time, many of the talented actors who brought these beloved characters to life have sadly passed away. Some left us far too soon due to tragic accidents or unforeseen circumstances. In this article, we honor the stars of All My Children, who are no longer with us, celebrating the legacy and everlasting mark they left on daytime television. David Canary, as Adam Chandler, Stuart Chandler. David Hoyt Canary was born on August 25, 1938 in Elwood, Indiana, a man once expected to become a football star, but who instead became a television legend. In 1983, when he was 45 years old, he joined the cast of All My Children, playing both ruthless businessman Adam Chandler and his gentle twin brother, Stuart Chandler. Over nearly 3 decades, David mesmerized viewers with his masterful acting, earning 5 Daytime Emmy Awards out of 16 nominations. This role not only cemented his place in viewers' hearts, but also helped him amass an estimated net worth of around $2 million. Few knew that behind the stage lights, his real life held quiet sorrow. After his first marriage ended in divorce, he found peace with actress Maureen Maloney and had 2 children. But then, a silent nightmare arrived. He was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, a cruel disease that slowly robbed him of his memory, dimmed his once brilliant presence, and took away the voice of a man who lived through his words and emotions. From a lively, fan-friendly figure at meet and greets in Disneyland and the Ponderosa Ranch, he gradually faded into the shadows of neurological decline. Despite attempts to return to acting in his later years, his memory could no longer support him. On November 16, 2015, David Canary passed away at an assisted living facility in Wilton, Connecticut, at the age of 77. He left quietly after years of private struggle, mourned deeply by family, colleagues, and millions of devoted fans. Mary Ficket, as Ruth Martin. Mary Ficket was born on May 23, 1928, in Buffalo, New York. She joined All My Children in the show's first year, 1970, when she was 42 years old, portraying Ruth Parker Brent Martin, a kind-hearted nurse who later became the wife of Dr. Joe Martin. Ruth was not only a pillar of the Martin family, but a symbol of compassion and wisdom in American daytime television. She was one of the first TV actresses to infuse political commentary and real emotion into her role. Amid the Vietnam War, Ruth Martin, through Mary's performance, became the first character on American daytime television to speak out against the war, a move that initially alarmed network executives. Yet this bold storyline earned Mary the first Daytime Emmy Award ever given to a daytime drama performer in 1973, a historic milestone. Her career spanned more than 3 decades on Broadway and television, and her estimated net worth reached around $1 million, a modest figure compared to her immense cultural impact. Her personal life was marked by trials. After 3 marriages, Mary had 2 children and spent many years with her final husband, television director Alan Fristow, until his death in 2008. After retiring in 2000, she lived quietly with her daughter. Yet her greatest tragedy wasn't on screen, but in real life. Mary was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, a disease that stripped away her memory, speech, and eventually the dignity of an actress who once lived through feeling. In 2007, she became bedridden at her daughter's home in Virginia. On September 8, 2011, Mary Ficket passed away at the age of 83 after years of battling severe complications from Alzheimer's. ABC honored her by dedicating the final episode of All My Children to the woman who gave soul to the Martin family and to a generation of daytime drama fans. Ray Macdonald as Dr. Joe Martin. Ray Macdonald was born on March 5, 1928, in Lawrence, Massachusetts. In 1970, when he was 42 years old, he stepped into the role of a lifetime. Dr. Joe Martin, a dedicated physician and the moral compass of the fictional town of Pine Valley in the hit series All My Children. This role earned him the Lifetime Achievement Emmy in 2004 and helped him accumulate an estimated net worth of $2 million, thanks to thousands of episodes and the professional respect he earned throughout the industry. In 2009, when the show moved from New York to California, Macdonald chose to retire at the age of 81, officially closing a golden chapter in his career. He made one brief return in the show's final 2011 episode as a farewell to his loyal audience. Privately, he enjoyed a 60-year marriage with Patricia Ann Broderick and had 3 children, an ideal family both on and off screen. On June 10, 2021, Ray Macdonald passed away at his home in Chappaqua, New York, at the age of 93. According to family, his death was peaceful and due to natural causes. He departed the world quietly, a simple yet dignified ending for a man who dedicated his life to art, family, and unwavering integrity in every role he played. Ruth Warick, as Phoebe Tyler Wallingford. Ruth Warick was born on June 29, 1916, in St. Joseph, Missouri. When she took on the role of Phoebe Tyler Wallingford in All My Children in 1970, she was 54 years old. Originally written as a wealthy, conservative, and snobbish socialite, Ruth infused the role with humor, depth, and humanity. The success of Phoebe marked a career high point, alongside her memorable performances in Citizen Kane, 1941, The Guiding Light, As the World Turns, and Peyton Place. Her estimated net worth was about $1 million, earned largely through her decades in television and on the Broadway stage. Beyond acting, Warick was also a staunch political activist, working with 3 U.S. presidents, Kennedy, Johnson, and Carter, on labor and education issues. Yet her final years were filled with pain. In 2001, she broke her hip while on vacation in Greece and was confined to a wheelchair thereafter. Despite her fragile health, she returned to the screen in 2002, most notably in the 35th anniversary episode of All My Children on January 5, 2005, her final on-screen appearance. Less than 2 weeks later, on January 15, 2005, Ruth Warick passed away at her home in Manhattan at the age of 88 due to complications from pneumonia. Her death stunned millions of fans, as her character Phoebe Tyler had become inseparable from her very being, right down to her final breath. Michael Nader as Dimitri Merrick. Michael Nader was born on February 19, 1945 in St. Louis, Missouri, and carried German, Yugoslavian, and Lebanese ancestry. After a difficult childhood marked by his parents' divorce and a serious accident at age 6 that left a lifelong scar, he entered Hollywood through minor roles in teen surf movies. But in 1991, when he was 46 years old, Michael Nader skyrocketed to fame with the role of Dimitri Merrick, the charming, mysterious gentleman of All My Children. For over a decade, he captivated millions with his intense gaze and stormy romance with Erica Kane. Before that, Nader had already been a prime-time heartthrob as Dex Dexter, Alexis Colby's third husband, in Dynasty, 1983 to 1989. At the height of his fame, he was considered one of the golden faces of American soap operas, earning an estimated net worth of about $1.5 million from hundreds of successful episodes on ABC. Yet behind the glamorous image lay a life filled with fractures. Nader struggled with alcohol and drug addiction from an early age and entered rehab in 1980. In 1997, he was arrested for DUI, and in 2001, scandal erupted when he was caught trying to sell cocaine to an undercover cop. ABC immediately fired him from All My Children, despite previously promising, "We'll give him a chance to come back if he gets clean." Nader later sued the network for breaking their word, but his career was nearly destroyed. The most shocking revelation only came after his death. For years, rumors circulated that Michael was HIV positive, something he always vehemently denied. But in 2021, after his passing, his daughter Lindsay confirmed that he had been living with HIV for decades, even before she was born. It was a secret he kept until the very end, astonishing many who now realize the strength of a man who endured addiction, scandal, HIV, and still acted like nothing was wrong. On August 23, 2021, Michael Nader died at age 76, just 10 days after being diagnosed with a terminal form of cancer. By his side was his wife, Jody Lister, who had stood with him through the final 18 years of his life. His sudden death was not only a devastating loss for his loved ones, but also left a deep void in the hearts of fans, those who had once been mesmerized by the brooding, romantic intensity of Dimitri Marek. Eileen Hurley as Myrtle Fargate. Eileen Hurley was born on March 8, 1918 in Glasgow, Scotland, and was a veteran actress who ruled both Broadway and American television for decades. In 1976, when she was 58 years old, she took on the role of Myrtle Fargate in All My Children, a character she played consistently until 2008, when she was 90. For over 30 years, Myrtle was more than just an eccentric, humorous, and compassionate woman. She was the soul of Pine Valley, the one everyone turned to when they needed honest advice. Before becoming a daytime TV icon, Eileen Hurley had already made a name for herself in the UK. She played Gertrude, Hamlet's mother, 3 times, opposite stage legends like Laurence Olivier and Richard Burton, even though she was actually younger than her sons. Her stage career earned her a Tony Award nomination and numerous lead roles on both sides of the Atlantic. From West End to Broadway, from Shakespeare to Chekhov, Hurley left an unforgettable mark. With such a long and varied career, her estimated net worth was around $1 million, primarily from thousands of TV episodes and decades of stage work. Her personal life, however, was quiet and tinged with sadness. After 2 failed marriages and no children, she lived alone for the last 50 years of her life in the United States. Though she avoided scandal or addiction, Hurley faced a different kind of struggle, deep, quiet loneliness, which close friends like fellow actor Louis Edmonds helped ease during her later years. Their deep friendship remained a poignant bond, and she delivered the eulogy at his funeral in 2001. A moment fans of All My Children still recall with reverence. In 2008, just months after her final screen appearance, Eileen Hurley died on October 8th in New York at age 90 due to complications from pneumonia. Her passing was quiet, but she was honored in a heartfelt tribute episode of All My Children. In the final scene, creator Agnes Nixon stepped into the studio and gently blew a kiss toward a portrait of Myrtle, a farewell to a woman who didn't just play a role, but fully became her character until the very last breath. Billy Miller as Richie Novak. William John Miller II was born on September 17, 1979, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. When he was 28 years old, he took on the role of Richie Novak in All My Children, a dark, conflicted character marked by guilt and chaos. In just 50 to 100 episodes, Miller demonstrated a remarkable ability to portray complex roles. But that was just the beginning. His talent exploded further when he played Billy Abbott in The Young and the Restless, a role that earned him 3 Daytime Emmy nominations and 2 wins, boosting his profile and helping him amass an estimated net worth of around $3 million. He later won more fans with dual roles as Jason Morgan and Drew Kane on General Hospital, a journey that lasted until 2019. Despite his enormous success on screen, Billy Miller endured a brutal internal battle. He lived for years with bipolar depression. Friends and co-stars described him as warm but sensitive, always trying to hide his pain behind a bright smile. On September 15, 2023, just 2 days before his 44th birthday, Billy was found dead by suicide in Austin, Texas. The coroner's report revealed the presence of ethanol, cocaine, diphenhydramine and amphetamine in his system, signs that he was desperately trying to numb the emotional agony. At the scene, multiple farewell letters and end-of-life instructions were discovered, a final testament to the collapse of someone who had fought so bravely for so long. Miller never married and left behind no children. His death sent shockwaves through the fan community and the television industry. His mother, Patricia, said through tears, "He loved his family, his friends, his fans, but in the end, the illness won." Larkin Malloy as Travis Montgomery. Thomas Larkin Malloy was born on September 24, 1954, in New York City, the son of Irish immigrant parents. With his striking looks and warm voice, he entered the world of theater in 1974 when he was in his early 20s. In 1987, when he was 33 years old, he landed the most iconic role of his career, Travis Montgomery in All My Children, a complex, conflicted businessman and the fated love of Erica Kane, played by Susan Lucci. The role lasted until 2001, with Malloy appearing in hundreds of episodes and becoming a familiar face to American TV audiences at the turn of the century. Prior to that, he had gained attention playing Skylar Whitney in The Edge of Night, 1980 to 1984, and Kyle Sampson in Guiding Light, 1984 to 1987. However, during the filming of The Edge of Night, he was struck by a car on Park Avenue in New York. He survived, but had to temporarily leave the show, handing over the role to another actor. Ironically, the actor who replaced him, James Horan, was later replaced by Malloy himself in the role of Clay Alden on Loving in 1992. A strange full circle among men who walked the same precarious path under the spotlight. Outside of television, Malloy was also a talented voice actor and a dedicated acting teacher in his later years. With over 2 decades in the entertainment industry, his estimated net worth was around $1 million, mostly from his roles in Guiding Light, The Edge of Night, and All My Children. Tragically, the greatest blow in his life came at what should have been a celebratory moment. On September 24, 2016, his 62nd birthday, Larkin Malloy suffered a massive heart attack. He was rushed to the hospital but passed away 5 days later on September 29th in his hometown of New York. He died at age 62. A sudden and heartbreaking end for fans who still remembered the sharp yet tender gaze of Travis Montgomery from years past. Christopher Lofford as Charlie Brent. Christopher Kennedy Lofford was born on March 29, 1955, the son of movie star Peter Lofford and Patricia Kennedy, sister of President John F. Kennedy. When he was 37 years old, Christopher Lofford took on the role of Charlie Brent in All My Children, 1992 to 1996. Though not a lead role, the character mirrored his real life, a man who had walked through sin and was trying to redeem his life with sheer willpower. Before stepping into the spotlight, Lofford studied law and psychology at Harvard, but never practiced due to falling into drug addiction at the age of 14. 17 years of substance abuse, 3 arrests, 1 incident of impersonating a doctor to obtain drugs, and a hepatitis C diagnosis were the consequences of that dark period. Tragedy followed tragedy. In 1984, his father died from alcoholism, and just months later, his close cousin David Kennedy died from a drug overdose. These losses jolted Lofford into entering rehab, beginning a path of recovery. He remained clean from 1986 until his final days. But his most lasting legacy came from the books he wrote on addiction, recovery, and mental health. Works like Symptoms of Withdrawal, Moments of Clarity, and Recover to Live were not just memoirs. They became lifelines for those battling their inner demons. Thanks to his advocacy, he worked with the WHO, the United Nations, and became a global goodwill ambassador for drug treatment. His estimated net worth was about $1 million, mostly from his books, acting, and activism. In his personal life, Lofford went through 3 failed marriages, had 3 children, and even dated Elizabeth Taylor in 1973. In his later years, he lived in Vancouver, Canada, with his girlfriend, where he planned to open a rehabilitation center. On September 4, 2018, during a hot yoga session, he suddenly suffered a heart attack and passed away at age 63. His unexpected death, just as he was trying to save others from addiction, left both the medical community and loved ones in shock. Frances Heftlin as Mona Tyler. Mary Frances Heftlin was born on September 20, 1920, in Oklahoma City. In 1970, when she was 50 years old, Frances took on the role that would define her for the rest of her life. Mona Kane Tyler, the calm, kind-hearted, yet strong-willed mother of Erica Kane in All My Children. Over more than 2 decades and hundreds of episodes, Mona became not only the mother of Pine Valley, but also the quiet heart of the entire show. Before joining the world of daytime television, she was a celebrated stage actress, starring in classics like The Skin of Our Teeth, A Streetcar Named Desire, and The Glass Menagerie, opposite Helen Hayes in London. A lifelong member of the Actors Studio, she also had a long career in radio, appearing on many top programs of the era. With over 50 years in the performing arts across stage, radio, and television, her estimated net worth was around $1 million. Privately, Frances was married to composer Saul Kaplan from 1945 until his death in 1990. They had 3 children, including director Jonathan Kaplan and actresses Nora and Maidie Kaplan, continuing the artistic legacy she had nurtured. But tragedy struck. While still appearing on All My Children, Frances Heftlin was diagnosed with lung cancer, a silent illness that gradually took her strength. Without making a public exit or issuing statements, she kept portraying Mona until her very last possible days. And then, on June 1, 1994, she passed away in New York City at age 73, quietly, just as she had lived and given so much. Alec Muser as Del Henry. Alec Muser, born on April 11, 1973, was an American actor and fitness model who captivated millions with his chiseled physique and radiant smile. In 2005, when he was 32 years old, he was cast as Del Henry on All My Children after winning the reality show I Want to Be a Soap Star. Del Henry was a free-spirited, slightly rebellious character with a hidden sincerity. Muser played the role across 43 episodes, up until 2007, marking the biggest milestone in his brief but promising acting career. Before television, Alec was an internationally recognized model, featured in campaigns for Abercrombie & Fitch, GQ, Men's Health, Speedo, and Cosmopolitan. He was known for his healthy, disciplined lifestyle and reportedly avoided vices entirely, something confirmed by his fiancée, who once said, he only occasionally had a cookie. His estimated net worth was about $1 million, mostly from global modeling work and film/TV contracts. However, behind the glamour, Muser's life carried an unseen shadow. His family had endured tragedy when his father died by suicide during Alec's teenage years, a trauma that left lasting emotional scars. On January 12, 2024, Alec Muser was found dead at his home in Del Mar, California, at age 50. The coroner concluded that he had died by suicide from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the chest, a devastating event that sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. Some sources speculated he had suffered severe COVID-19, which might have affected his mental health, but this was never confirmed. After his death, his brother shared, "The wound from our father's suicide ran deep in Alec, and maybe it never truly healed." James Mitchell as Palmer Cortlandt. James Mitchell was born on February 29, 1920, in Sacramento, California. He began portraying Palmer Cortlandt in All My Children in 1979, when he was 59 years old, and stayed in the role for more than 3 decades until his final appearance in 2008. Palmer was a cold, controlling, and cunning businessman. one of the show's most compelling antagonists, portrayed with unmatched precision and gravitas by Mitchell. But few knew that before becoming Pine Valley's tycoon, James Mitchell had been a pioneer in American ballet. Discovered by Agnes DeMille, who called him "my dearest artistic soulmate," he was a principal dancer on Broadway, performing with Helen Hayes and starring in Carousel, The Rainmaker, The King and I, Funny Girl, and The Threepenny Opera. Though he never achieved major stardom in film, with smaller roles in The Bandwagon, 1953, and The Turning Point, 1977, television became his true legacy, especially through hundreds of All My Children episodes. His estimated net worth was about $1 million, earned mostly through his long-standing work in stage and television. Mitchell's personal life was a testament to lasting love. He shared a 39-year relationship with Oscar-winning costume designer Albert Wolski, a public and inspiring partnership within the artistic world. Yet old age brought a quiet tragedy. James Mitchell passed away on January 22, 2010, at age 89 in Los Angeles due to chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, worsened by pneumonia, a painful end for a man whose elegant steps once stirred the hearts of America. Candace Early as Donna Beck. Candace Jean Early was born on August 18, 1950, in Lawton, Oklahoma. When she was just 26 years old, she began playing the role of Donna Beck in the daytime drama All My Children, a role initially considered temporary, but no one could have predicted that this character would become a symbol of redemption and rebirth, and Candace Early would become a staple face on American television for nearly 2 decades. The role earned Candace the award for Outstanding New Actress at the inaugural Soapies in 1977. Before All My Children, Candace Early was a lyric soprano who had undergone 14 years of classical training. She had appeared on Broadway in Hair Grease, Jesus Christ Superstar and starred as Sandy Dombrowski in Grease in 1974. Her career was not loud, but it was steady, earning her a modest but solid living from stage and television work, with an estimated net worth of around $1 million. However, in 1992, after getting married, she was unexpectedly written out of the main cast. Candace withdrew from show business, retreated from the public eye, and rarely made public appearances. But then tragedy struck. In 2011, she was diagnosed with multiple system atrophy, MSA, a rare and severely debilitating neurological disorder. For the last 8 years of her life, Candace Early lived in silent suffering, gradually losing the ability to move, speak, or care for herself. Candace Early passed away on January 31, 2019, at the age of 68. There were no stage lights, no applause, but her life stood as a vivid testament to those who dared to confront darkness, both on screen and in real life. John Callahan as Edmund Gray. John Kevin Callahan was born on December 23, 1953, in Brooklyn, New York. He portrayed Edmund Gray in All My Children, a mysterious, thoughtful, and charismatic journalist from 1992 to 2005, beginning when he was 39 years old and ending when he was 52. It was the role of Edmund that etched Callahan's name into the hearts of a generation of viewers captivated by the drama and tragedy of daytime TV. The success of the role didn't just bring fame, it was a turning point in his life. Off-screen, Callahan and Eva LaRue, the actress who played Maria, fell in love in real life. They married in 1996 in Hawaii and had a daughter, Kaya McKenna, born in 2001. However, their romantic story ended in divorce in 2005, coinciding with Edmund's departure from the show, as if his life and character unraveled in tandem. In the final stage of his career, Callahan continued to appear in Days of Our Lives, 2008 to 2010, and even co-hosted TV shows such as Weddings of a Lifetime and Miss America 1997. Though no longer a leading star, he remained a beloved figure in American television. With a net worth of around $1 million, he relied largely on a stable career in TV. Tragedy struck on March 27, 2020, when Callahan suffered a sudden stroke and was rushed to Eisenhower Medical Center in California. He died the next day, March 28, at the age of 66, after life support was withdrawn. His death shocked fans, sudden, without scandal, and without farewell. Jeffrey Carlson as Zoe. Jeffrey S. Carlson was born on June 23, 1975, in Long Beach, California. He graduated with a degree in theater arts in 1997 and received advanced training at Juilliard, a school known for producing Broadway's greatest talents. In 2006, when he was 31 years old, Jeffrey made an unforgettable impact playing Zoe Looper in the daytime drama All My Children, a transgender lesbian character who was once a rock star known as Zarf. It was one of the pioneering roles in American television history for LGBTQ+ representation, turning Jeffrey into an unexpected symbol of courage and visibility. Appearing in roughly 50 to 100 episodes from 2006 to 2007, Jeffrey's role helped All My Children win a GLAAD Award in 2007 and sparked a cultural shift in the traditionally conservative world of daytime TV. Refusing to be boxed in by television, Carlson continued to prove his talent on the stage, playing Hamlet, Romeo, Richard II, and other iconic roles at major theaters such as the Shakespeare Theatre Company, Chicago Shakespeare Theatre, and even the Royal Shakespeare Company in the UK. Though not a mainstream television star, Carlson was deeply respected in the theater community and earned a steady income from stage, television, and film projects, accumulating an estimated net worth of around $500,000. Yet behind the curtain was a fragile heart. On July 6, 2023, Jeffrey Carlson suddenly passed away at the age of 48. The cause was determined to be idiopathic dilated cardiomyopathy, a rare condition in which the heart weakens with no prior warning. His death stunned the artistic world. He left us with his creativity intact, his audience still adoring him, and a world still needing to hear more from him through his characters. The legacy of All My Children lives on in the hearts of fans, thanks to the talented actors who left an indelible mark. Which character from Pine Valley moved you the most? What memory from the show still touches your heart? Share your story and help us honor these stars who've passed by, leaving a comment or sharing this tribute.